We are working with Ukrainian air reconnaissance officers who are in charge of the long-range air defense systems.
Працюємо із аеророзвідниками, які керують дальніми БПЛА.
This is the western part of Bakhmut. Have you found a potential target? Yes. This is a military cargo vehicle. I am collecting Furia. We are going to work with Ukrainian air reconnaissance officers who are in charge of the long-range air defense systems. These birds can fly 50 kilometers in one direction and work in the enemy's rear. This means that they reveal serious enemy targets such as BK warehouses and headquarters.
Виявляють серйозні ворожі цілі, такі як склади БК і штаби.
I hope that today we will also see something interesting live. Maybe there will even be Bakhmut, which we love to read in the news. So watch, it will be very interesting. Subscribe to this channel, like the video. Also, if you have already donated to Zoo, you can support our work because such reports are published, including your support. The link is in the description. We are now walking 500 meters in the field without heaters. I can't see anything. I have no orientation. Support Zoo, donate money to thermal imagers. We are now walking a kilometer to the guys who work in Lalsi. These are the fighters of the 80th Separate Assault Brigade. They fly deep into the enemy's rear. It was difficult to get to them because we do not have a driver. But now they are just collecting the board. We will see how it happens and then we will fly with them. It will be interesting. Look. We check the mechanics, whether everything works. Stabilization mode. I'll tell you about the radio. Are you checking what it is? This is to show the air at the speed at which it reacts. We have a flight that lasts up to 2 hours. Are you ready? You can go to the start. We will turn off the light. Sound assing, it has a strong load. And you can fly with ease.
Світло увімкнено.
2 minutes to go. After the flight is completed, it blows out. Or it's so easy to fly on it. Turn it on. Turn it on. Is it normal? Yes, it's normal. Is it normal? Yes, it's normal. Turn it on. The bird has been launched. Well, it can only hear. Of course, we work at night. When there is no jeeps, now there is no jeeps at all. We are completely at this point, which is black and white. We look at the map and see where to fly. Because it is now blown away due to the absence of navigation. It can't find itself, and we help it to find out where it is. We turn off the navigation. It's not blown away, is it? It should be noted that there was no change in coordinates. That is, the plane should see itself exactly where we tell it, and not where the coordinates change and imitate its location. That is, the enemy should not intercept. Yes, yes. Well, this is already the western part of Bakhmut. There is an enemy right. Well, this is already the last positions of the enemy and ours. There was some kind of flight. Something is burning. It's burning there. We have a lot of places where something either burns or maybe someone can throw a generator so that the infantry can go there. In Bakhmut, the situation is quite tense because there are mostly Wagner fighters and they have no choice. That is, they have a choice either to die from ours or to die from their own. But they take a risk because they know that at the offensive they have a 50-50 chance, and at the retreat they have 0 chances. That is, they will be shot anyway, and so they rush head-to-head. In the Russian armed forces, the situation is a little different. There they can still allow themselves to be a little deserted or something else. True, after the last interceptions, they are already put in front of the fact that if they refuse to perform, they will be shot. What were the most interesting targets in this direction? What did you remember? The main thing is the place where the equipment was bought, or, accordingly, the name of the equipment. This is Ivanoshka, right? Yes, this is Ivanoshka. The artillery equipment was damaged, found in the movement of the Russian armed forces. They also found where it was hiding. Then they damaged it. Did you find a potential target? Yes, we confirm. Military loaded equipment. Are you passing this on to the artillery now? To the commanders, to the higher command, and they are all ready. They are growing. Is it worth working on them now? Or are you following further? Most likely, someone will work on everything here. If there is a standing target, then yes. If there is a mobile target, there is no need to open fire to the target, since the probability that you will fall on move is quite low. We had the case that the tank hit the tank with 2 bullets on the move. We almost hit the tank itself. When we were still in the Soviet direction, we wanted to correct the fire on the tank, and behind the tank came the infantry. They were conducting offensive actions. We corrected the fire on the tank, and purely by accident, we hit the tank on the move. It's interesting to see how they extinguish it. Everything is on fire. They drove the tank to the right. They turned to the right. Where is the Bakhmutsk radio? It is now standing still. It moved a little, but it is now standing still on the road. Wait. There is also some kind of machine. You said there was a car. Yes, there is also some kind of machine, but something smaller in size. Accordingly, these white dots are the infantry. Does it look like a BMP or not? No, it looks more like a cargo vehicle. Something like a KAMAZ or something like that. That is, it is quite large, but it is a cargo vehicle. The cabin is clearly lit. That is, it is definitely a cargo vehicle. But what is lit? Can you please give me the coordinates of the car? I'll put it in the chat now. But it moved again. Do you spend more time during the day or at night? At night, plus it is, for example, landing or something like that. Because it is very difficult to find something during the day in the landing, especially if the landing is dense. At night is very clearly visible, as long as the thermal objects are very visible in the thermal camera. At night, it is more likely that you see something, regardless of whether it is in the landing, for example. But the downside is that you do not see anything. That is, you see that there is something, but you do not know what it is, and it is very difficult to identify. But let's say that during the day, when you see what is there, for example, we were there. We saw the same tulip, an artillery station, We saw accordingly. We followed the tulip where it would go. It took us to their base. That is, we recorded their base, where there is a collection of military equipment. And we also saw on the way, as we were circling over the base, we saw a tank standing there. We also saw a truck in the forest, thanks to the same artillery facilities. Was the tulip destroyed? It seems that it was destroyed. Another crew, another unit. I have something to take a picture of, so that my son does not complain. What are you doing? No, constantly. They are still 21, right? Yes. Is it about the charging? Yes. How do you like the Bulgarian operation? Interesting. To be honest, I was very interested in observing, and I was interested in what it would lead to. Of course, they did not go to the city of Belgorod. I think they did not need to go to Belgorod. They just needed to make a trip. They just needed to make a trip and not run back. They sat there forced to pull out their weapons. Do you see it happening? Physically, it will be a little later. In addition, this is a moral, psychological pressure. This operation proves to all the Muscovites that they are not safe at all. At any moment, anyone can calmly enter their territory without unnecessary fuss and unnecessary problems. I think they came here. No, they did not. They came to the left. I think this was one of the components. This is a moral pressure to show. In Russia, people are told that they are very much protected. But here, let's say, a lot of people are calm. It's almost cheap to go to the city center. It's funny, what kind of protection are they then? We're waiting here somewhere. We have to go back. We're going to go back now. Plus, where did these cars that drove into the bar go? Approximately the coordinates of where the last car is going. We are still driving it. We found a point where it is going. Now I will drop these coordinates and accordingly we will return. Here it went somewhere. That's it, go back. We work with Ukrainian. The exit and arrival are close enough. One from the other. We work with air reconnaissance officers who manage the long-range Ukrainian
керують дальніми БПЛА українською, зокрема лелекою.
This time they worked over Bakhmut. They immediately noticed a number of targets for the future, which must be monitored in the future in order to help the infantry very much and so that it is near the front line.
Дуже сильно допомогти піхотинцям і тим, хто знаходиться біля лінії фронту.
Look, there is something hidden behind the seat. How to work with the Ukrainian-made book. Is it convenient? Very convenient. I have been working with the PA since 2018. And if you compare it with the old PAs that we had to work with, then this is a very, very good PA. If you make a blindage here, I don't know how you will fall here. If you want to live here, you will find a way. And if you look at the period when it was created, as it was created during the Otto period, then it would be a very imbalanced bird. I mean, its parameters exceeded expectations and needs.
перевершували би сподівання і потреби.
and frequencies, and the ability to fly without navigation, and the ability to watch videos in online mode and also broadcast, the ability to fly at a radius of 50 kilometers, its ability to fly in the type of aircraft is a very big plus, which often puts my feet under my feet. And this already has a very big positive plus, because it speeds up the preparation for the next flight. Judging by our conversation, it seems to me that you have been at war for quite a long time. I have been at war for a long time. I have been at war since 2015, in February. That is, I am still with the ATO. How does it feel to be 8 years at war practically without interruption? You get used to it. Yes, when you come to a peaceful place, it is quite difficult to get used to it. I was also at war for 14 years. I served in the contract for 5 years. On June 10, 2018, I retired. Well, when the full-scale war began, on the very first day, the military commander arrived, and I continued my native 80. Everything was practically the same as in 2014, only the scale was increased. But the scale is not felt. That is, the scale is felt only near you. That is, in 2014, the scale of the war before me was the same as in 2022. This difference is simply in the conditions, so to speak. Because, for example, take the weapons that have been used since 2014 and so on.
Озброєння, яке застосовувалося в 14-му, з 14-го і туди далі.
And the one that is used now, there is a very big difference. There is very limited, not only aviation, but also missiles of different types. That is, before the maximum that came were mortars or hurricanes. And now there will be, including even the same fads. That is, aircraft bombs and various types of rockets. And you don't know what will happen to you, let's say, especially when, for example, take the same Kharkiv counteroffensive. And we were in one of the settlements during the offensive. And in that settlement, every day, the house was simply demolished, so to speak, under the foundations. That is, we watched, let's say, we watched where the approach was. And we looked at that house, which, let's say, did not exist, which disappeared, as they say, from the ground. And we were amazed because we understood that the longer we are in that settlement, the more likely it is that the next house can be ours. Therefore, in any case, it is necessary to admit that psychologically it still gives a little bit about itself to know. 140. 120. 40. Low-level signal, 30. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27.
Було цікаво. Зараз їдемо далі працювати ще з одним БПЛА.
28.
Ти його сильно
29.
Та я із 400 забираю. Да.
30.
Я ж його включав, ще далеко включив.
31.
Зараз прийшли на точку, звідки працюють пілоти.
32.
Сказали збирати зараз сам БПЛА, а ми подивимося, як це відбувається.
33.
Вони вже встигли виявити на цьому напрямку саме ця група пілотів.
34. 35.
Я збираю фурію.
36.
Зараз я дістаю все необхідне для того, щоб скласти їх.
37.
Призначений він для виявлення ворожої техніки, живої сили,
38.
артилерії,
39.
колон і так далі.
40. 41. 42.
Це я перевіряв
43.
Це можна візуально визначити, так?
так,
44.
Зараз замаскували, бо ще летіти не можете, так?
так. Поки
45.
не готується до зльоту, ми його накриваємо.
Що найцікавіше
46.
працюєте, бачили?
Найцікавіше засоби
47.
сукупчення. Я думаю, що був підрозділ саме.
48.
Сукупчення гармат бойових від стаціонарних
49.
самохідних. Ну і базу танків. Це коли вони
50.
розумієш, що на дозаправку і на зарядку туди заїжджали. І плюс і живі.
51.
Потім з цими об'єктами, про які ви говорите, особливо з ребами, відбувалось після того, як ви їх побачили.
52.
Саме за ці реби, що ми бачили, то я думаю, їх вже знищили, скоріше за все, тому що ми
53.
інформацію розвідникам. Вони опрацювали, я думаю, і саме по них
54.
А по танках, гарматах, то відпрацьовували, коригували саме ми.
55.
Артилерію далекобійну, натівську, нашу. І
56.
було знищено в основному.
Угу. Так, мені треба тут пояснити, чому
57.
спитала, тому що це засоби радіоелектронної
58.
вони якраз таки заважають працювати нашим
59.
глушать загалом зв'язок, тобто це дуже небезпечна техніка, і вона дуже, я так розумію, вона дуже пріоритетна.
60.
Бо вона заважає нашій роботі, а наша робота це і перекриття
61.
розділів, і плюс розвідка тилу ворога
62.
і виявлення вогневих засобів.
Це ми прямуємо визначений нам район для
63.
спостереження і знаходження ворожої гармати, яка працює.
64.
Якраз прямуємо до неї, знайти, підтвердити так, що вона там є, надати координати,
65.
потім коригувати нашу артилерію.
Які найцікавіші цілі тут знаходили для себе?
66.
Там першої лінії виходять наші хлопці.
67.
Нам сказали там проконтролювати, що там заходять зі сторони
68.
і ДРГшники, там, ну щось таке. І ми якраз робимо коло, заходимо,
69.
той посадки, яка нам було якби, дивитися за нею. І смотрим, там йде
70.
крадуться где-то до 10, наверное, этих
81.
ворогів там присіли, і я розумію, що вони там чекали і там спланували свої дії.
82.
Все, починаємо працювати, наша артилерія, і перший пристрілочний, і мене лякають прямо там, де вони знаходилися.
83.
Гарно, все в сторонах, вже злітається. Нам
84.
додають нам задачу, що там в квадраті працює міномет.
85.
Знайти та уразити. Ми прямуємо туди, знаходимо в посадці цей міномет,
86.
бачимо особовий склад вокруг нього, і якби, перший постріл, і він влучає в
87.
особовий склад. Все це якби, так розлітається таким
88.
кольором гарним.
Ви маєте на увазі, ви бачите, як погані росіяни стають хорошими.
Ну,
89.
Були склади
Реби.
БК.
на Кліщівці була, да, точно працювали вже. І
90.
починаємо працювати, і попрацювали. Вони більше не носили туди БК.
91.
Там наступне місце шукали собі. Ну, вони там знайшли, і ми теж туди їх привітали.
92.
Туди теж треба зносити БК. Частина, яка на дворі,
93.
вона якраз детонувала, тобто була дуже гарна вспишка така, що ті стали все як завжди.
94.
Відпочивають.
Ви просто
95.
дуже цікаву термінологію підбираєте. YouTube сподобається. Яка ваша улюблена
96.
От вони іменно дуже
97.
влучно, реально дуже влучно. Топори реально роблять гарну роботу.
98.
Не скажу, що топори якось мені коли знаєш, коли працюють топори,
99.
перший присілочний, другий вже лягає туди, коли потрібно.
Це американська
100.
гаубиця М777, 3 топора. Тому от Олександр каже топори.
100.
Що може завадити працювати?
Завадити нам може,
100.
більш за все це погодні умови, це там злива, а низька там
100.
Якщо всі умови є для нашої роботи, то результативно.
100.
Якщо ми не знайшли навіть тут, наступний виліт ми йдемо трошки далі або ближче.
100.
лівіше. Я рахую, що результат це навіть от візьмемо
100.
передових підрозділів і те, що ми побачимо піхотні групи або окопи противника.
100.
Це результат, тому що наші передові групи будуть попереджені. Якщо навіть ми не працювали по цій
100.
не коригували, то ми цю інформацію опрацювали.
100.
Далі або нашим суміжним підрозділам
100.
саме вилітають, або артилерії вогневим засобом, або
100.
вона вже буде на цілі, і наступний там день той самий, ми будемо знати, що там щось було, наприклад.
100.
Ми будемо проходити десь недалеко і можемо просто от спеціально подивитися,
100.
підтвердити, чи стоїть там справді ця ціль досі. Я прийшов добровольцем
100.
з початком повномасштабної війни, закінчуючи строкову службу, то я знав, що
100.
пізно почнеться. І морально я був готовий до того.
А ким ви в цивільному житті були?
100.
Та багато ким, в основному будівництвом займався.
Угу. Як
100.
перевчитися із будівельника на одного із
100.
Я думаю, не дуже
100.
багато потрібно для цього часу. Треба трошки матеріальну базу
100.
вивчувати і цікавитись тим. Головне бажання.
у вас скільки часу пішло?
100.
Саме на коригування
100.
приблизно тиждень. Тиждень, десь якісь, може, ще нюанси були в моїй роботі.
100.
Відправляли, або мені хтось допомагав в цьому. Але це, я думаю, десь тиждень.
100.
Насправді.
Нема на війні вихідних.
Вихідний, коли дощ пішов?
100.
Так, от дощ це саме головна завада. Хмари і дощ. Ну і сильний вітер.
100.
Коли дощ?
Та я б не сказав. Я радію, коли дощ з градів.
100. 100. 100. 100. 100. 100.